It's a quick gathering with Chris and Emmet from Gathering of the Geeks. Over the next half hour or so, we've got some newsworthy items that we found notable. So, Chris, let's talk about them. Chris, how's it going tonight, and what do you got to talk about?
It's going, and I have two things to talk about. That's the deal. So, the first one I want to bring up, because I thought this was pretty cool. I don't know about anybody else. Or actually, I'm going to save that one for later. We'll save that one. The first thing I want to talk about is the Barbie trailer. Everybody has been like in a fever pitch for this movie. We didn't know what it was. We only saw set pictures, and we know it has an amazing cast. Yes. We did get the first trailer that gave you nothing.
Left me more confused.
Right, like, what is it?
Yeah.
Is she a doll? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have the second full trailer, or I guess the first full trailer, but second trailer. You know,
yeah.
Hollywood jargon. So we have a trailer. It shows what the movie is. I still don't totally get it. I think she's just in a Barbie world, like a toy world.
She's in a Barbie world?
I think she is. It's very bright. It looks very goofy. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah. I think, that encapsulates it for me, too. Like, so it's very interesting trailer. Because I had the same questions as you, like, okay, is this real life? Is she just a person?
Is this just a fantasy?
Barbie. Exactly. Yeah. Or like, I kept trying to think of Toy Story, like for some reason. Like,
yes, like is this live action Toy Story with Barbie?
Yeah. So and then kind of at the end of the trailer, there's like a real world sign or whatever, and Barbie and Ken are in that, and then they go to the real world, and she's like, "Oh, do you have your roller skates?" So they're in the Barbie world, but what Barbie world is that? Is it a TV show? Is it Toyland? It's a very interesting trailer because I have no idea what's going on. And I think one of the conversations that we had, or maybe it was in a DM, who is this movie for? Is it for kids? Is it for adults? And I still don't know. Like, there's obviously a very racy joke in it about what is it, beaching you off or whatever it is.
I believe the trailer solidified this is not for kids.
Okay, that's good.
I don't think it's for kids. It doesn't look like it. I mean, other than it being bright, I don't really see anything for a child. It looks like for, if you grew up with Barbie and now you are an adult, you may want to watch this.
Right.
That's the impression I got from it.
Yeah, and like the cast of characters, like it fills up the whole screen at one point of every name you can possibly think of.
It's pretty cool.
And even Michael Cera for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in it. Or if I did, I forgot.
I didn't know he was in it either.
But it's cool to see him again, I guess.
Yeah, it's very. I don't think he says anything in the trailer, but it's a very interesting trailer for sure.
It's cool to see him, but it's cool that we finally have an idea of what this movie is because we've just been hearing about it for so long, and now we finally see. Okay, that's what it is. Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say it out of the way just because it sounds like something interesting, but at the same time, as far as it not being made for kids, I kind of think of. There's an animated series called Biker Mice from Mars. Hardly anybody remembers this show.
Nice pull here. Good pull. I'm excited to see where this goes.
I thought that was a blast. I love that cartoon. Yeah. But if it were made today, like as a movie, I would want them to make it for me. Mm-hmm. I would want them to make it for kids who may say, hey, that's a rat on a motorcycle. That's cool.
Sure.
Because I'm going to be there either way. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see, them being able to go see it too, even though I remember it was pretty violent. I mean, one of the mice had like a thing of bullets around his body, but still.
It's a very interesting trailer, and from the stuff that we've seen so far, I think we saw some set videos and set pics.
We saw a lot of set videos, a lot of set pictures. I think the set pictures were set in the real world. See,
and that's the other thing that from the roller skate thing at the end of this trailer. I'm like, oh, I saw Ryan Gosling on roller skates. So it's a very interesting, and the marketing is going to be very interesting for this movie. It feels like that's going to be like the big pizzazz, and like they showed a lot of colors, like you mentioned.
Very colorful.
Very colorful. Holy cow!
Color explosion.
Color explosion. And like all we saw from before was the 2001 Space Odyssey kind of riff.
Yeah.
From that teaser, which I don't know how that fits into this trailer because they seem very separate now.
Very different tone.
Very interesting marketing for the movie. That's for sure.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Same week as Oppenheimer, so that's going to be fun. I believe it's going to be the Thursday night showing for me. Oppenheimer might be the Saturday.
Oh, that's a good mix then, eh?
We'll see. You got to balance. It's all about balance.
All about balance, and Barbie might be that balance. Who knows? All right, so that's Barbie, and that was a trailer just released today. Holy cow, a lot of trailers today on April the 4th as well. So I've got a little bit of news that came out a little while ago, actually, that made it interesting to me about Frank Grillo, who was talking about the MCU and talking about DC. So I kind of got a quote here. It's a little long, so I'll try and speed through it a little bit. But he says that they never told a story about Crossbones. The mythology of the MCU and just what Marvel has in its pool of characters, it's so deep. Crossbones was there for a minute, but he was supposed to be there longer. Then they went the direction that they did. I think Crossbones serves a purpose, but I think the interesting thing is that if you see how many people around the world have responded to Crossbones, and again, he's on the screen for a very short amount of time, I think there's more there. I think there was more meat on the bone. I was disappointed, which is why I went over to DC. So that's all he says. He doesn't say what DC project he's going into. I think there's I'm reading this article on comicbook.com, and it kind of goes into a little bit about the Creature Commandos. He could be Rick Flag Sr.
That's
something
my
like
guess.
that. My expertise on even the Crossbones character in the MCU is very limited, Chris. I think he was in Winter Soldier.
He's a big part of two stories. Crossbones is I'd say one of the better Captain America villains. I like Crossbones a lot.
Okay. So what do you think about Frank Grillo here? Do you think he's got a right to be kind of peeved off at MCU? And then where do you think he's going where do you think he's going in DC? Do you think it's pretty cut and dry that he's going to be Rick Flag Sr. or what?
I understand he wanted to be a part of the bigger machine here.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of things, Crossbones is a Captain America villain.
Okay.
We saw Captain America fight him twice, technically. Once as just before Crossbones and once as Crossbones. I don't know that we were going to see a whole movie with Cap versus Crossbones with the direction that they were heading. And plus, without Steve Rogers, you really don't need Crossbones. That's kind of the way I look at it. I understand he's a little upset, and that's terrible, but it's kind of, there's only one Loki,
You're right.
Loki is a different beast.
Sure. And then what do you think about the kind of the DC thing where he straight up says that's why he moved to DC? DC playing anybody else other than who it's kind of rumored about Rick Flag Sr.?
I'm guessing he is definitely Rick Flag Sr. I got lost in the Matrix. I'll be back there in a second. But I'm guessing he's definitely Rick Flag Sr. for Creature Commandos, especially because we know in that show, whoever plays the animated one will play them in a film or a TV show down the line if that character were to appear, so it makes sense. He's a known face. It's Frank Grillo.
Right. It's interesting that the article on comicbook.com goes on to say that Grillo and Ron Perlman both attended the premiere of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Amid speculation, the actors were cast in DC Creature Commandos. The other character that was in that kind of screenshot that James Gunn shown was Frankenstein. That's kind of where I'm putting Ron Perlman in that usage as well. Do you think that's where Ron Perlman's going as well, Frankenstein?
I sure hope so, because I would love that. And it makes me want him live action too. Like, why have we never put Ron Perlman in green makeup before as Frankenstein? It was right there.
So that's all I got for Frank Grillo and his move to DC. Chris, what do you got for your exciting one?
So on Twitter, I just got a notification. Ted Lasso has just hit on Apple TV right now. New episode.
I'll be watching that tonight then.
Yes. Anyway, so on Twitter right now, one of the trending things is real cinema has returned.
Oh.
Did you see that one yet?
I did not. That must not be trending in Canada.
Maybe it's not, but it's trending here. The reason being, Shrek 5 has been announced with the original cast returning.
Shrek 5 is trending here, by the way.
So there you go. So real cinema is back in Canada too. Yeah, so it's the original cast, and I just think that's amazing. I like the Shrek universe a lot. I think it's a great. The first one's great. I like the second one. I don't remember 3. I didn't know there was a 4.
Right.
But I like Puss in Boots also. Those are great.
Mm.
So it's cool that the universe is continuing. And I mean, Cameron Diaz is coming out of retirement for this role.
She retired?
Yes, she left acting behind in the mid 2010s, teens, something like that.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So she's coming back, and of course Eddie Murphy will be back as Donkey, which who doesn't love that?
Yeah, Donkey's the best.
Donkey is the best, and you have Mike Myers, of course. So I thought that was pretty neat. Did not expect that today.
Yeah, the Shrek 5 announcement definitely wasn't on the bucket list of maybe a lot of people's, or maybe it was. I don't know. Are people pining for a new Shrek movie? Because, like I said, I didn't know there was a Shrek 4 either. I thought it ended with 3.
I guess they're excited for, or pining for, I suppose. I mean, nobody saw the Puss in Boots movie coming either, and that was really, really good.
You've talked about that one a couple of times. How much you've enjoyed that.
I wonder if the success of that is how this is happening. Like, hey, that worked out really well. Maybe we could do something with the original character too.
Right. I would watch it too. I think Shrek 1 is probably in my top 5 favorite animated movies. It's very good, and it's got that adult humor mixed with the kid humor and kid action as well. So a Shrek 5, yeah, I'd be excited for a Shrek 5.
I think it'll be fun.
I could see that.
It doesn't need to be anything deep; just be fun.
Do you think they should do the animation style that the new Puss in Boots was?
Well, I think Puss in Boots had that more because of the action.
Yeah.
If Shrek has action, it's sure, because it does look great. But if it doesn't, nah, it's fine. Just give us a refined version of what Shrek looks like. Because it seems like every movie after the first one just kept looking better and better because the technology got better.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the animation style is quite different than a lot of different, even Disney stuff. It's DreamWorks, I think.
DreamWorks has with Shrek, they did implement their own look. I think even the How to Train Your Dragon series kind of has the Shrek look.
That's it.
Which those are really good too. Yeah, those are really good too. It's amazing how far the Shrek franchise has even come, considering it was originally going to be a Chris Farley thing.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've. Was Puss in Boots nominated for Best Animated Feature, or something?
I don't know. It should have been if it wasn't.
I thought or one of the other ones was from a while ago. I can't remember. It's Shrek 1. How long was that? 15 years ago? Maybe more. I don't know.
I'd say maybe more.
Yeah.
I think it was more like 2000-ish. Maybe 2001, something like that. It's an older film at this point.
Cinema returns. Shrek
Cinema's
5.
back.
They got to do a funky name. They can't have it be Shrek 5. Maybe like the Shrek.
The Shrekening.
The return of.
Shrek Returns. You can do that.
Shrek Returns. There you go.
Yeah, Shrek Returns.
Max Shrek Returns.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like.
I would definitely like to see Max Shrek return. Just give me a solo of him.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I've got a news item here. It's a little bit older, but it's something that I've wanted to bring up on our Sunday shows, and it was announced at WonderCon, and it feels like a couple weeks ago. So Francis Ford Coppola is self-financing a movie called Megalopolis, which if you from a news a while ago, there was some news came out of some inappropriate stuff that was happening on set, or some people were upset with stuff that was happening on set, and they got new cast and this, that, and the other. Anyway, so what they're doing now is they're making a comic based off of that movie. It's going to be written by Chris Rael and with artist by Jacob Phillips. It's coming from Image Comics. So it's kind of a double duty about my news here. It's news about the movie Megalopolis and seeing, Francis Ford Coppola returning to, making movies again. He feels like he's 90 years old, and I think he is 90 years old. He's been around forever. Yeah, exactly. So I kind of got a little bit of a synopsis of what the film is, because I have no idea what Megalopolis is about. And I'm just reading the synopsis for the movie right now. The film tells the story of an architect dreaming of a utopian version of New York City in the near future, and his battle with the conservative mayor who has other ideas about the city. Contained within the epic is a myriad of stories and characters. The fate of Rome haunts a modern world unable to solve its own social problems in this epic story of political ambition. So on the outset right there, that doesn't sound too interesting for a
Yeah,
movie called Megalopolis.
which is more
But
fun to say than it may be.
exactly right, and that's what's got my idea. But the cast is quite good, or it's quite large. Adam Driver, Shia LaBeouf, Forrest Whitaker, John Voight, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Lawrence Fishburne, Talia Shear. So he's got some of his family in there with Jason Schwartzman and Talia Shear. Dustin Hoffman is in it. Giancarlo Esposito. But the comic has me excited as well. Jacob Phillips, who is the son of Sean Phillips, who works with Ed Brubaker on the Criminal series, and is the artist. Jacob Phillips is the artist on That Texas Blood for Image Comics. It is a very popular comic for them. So it's not the biggest news, but something about, Francis Ford Coppola making a movie and then thus a comic being very quickly made for that movie as well. I'm not sure about release dates of both of them, but I think it's an interesting idea about, comics based off of movies and how the quick release of them all. And again, Francis Ford Coppola has me kind of interested as well. What do you think about that, Chris?
I would be interested because of him, but the concept doesn't sound like something I'd want to watch, but I do like the cast. And then I wonder, how did that even translate to a comic? It just sounds like a lot of wordy things. Like it's going to be a lot of wordy panels.
That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
I think I'd have to like the movie to read the comic. I don't think it would be vice versa. I would need to see the movie and say, okay, I enjoy this enough to read a comic about it.
Right.
But the log line, that's not something I really care to see.
That's what I was thinking too.
Something else when I heard the title.
Feels more science fiction-y to me. Megalopolis.
Yeah. Doesn't it mean like something like Dark City, but not like that? Not like Dark, I suppose. The city. The city.
Not Dark City, just City.
Yeah, I don't know, be something like that, but I don't know. I might check it out.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. If Jacob Phillips wasn't involved, I don't know how excited I'd be at all about the comic book. It's just something interesting coming out of, the movie is also interesting about this, self-finance thing. That old crew of Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg. George Lucas has done that. Since he sold Star Wars, he's self-financed films that he's made that no one will ever see. Mm-hmm. So the idea of self-financing a movie so you can make it your way is an interesting idea as well. And from some of the news that's come out from the movie, maybe it's not the best way of doing things, but I guess we'll see. We'll see when that.
I think the self-financing has a lot more pitfalls maybe than a studio coming in. But I guess it also depends on the studio and the movie as well. I mean, you look at Kevin Smith, who self-finances his movies, and
right.
I've seen some of them that were self-financed, and I'm not really a fan.
Yeah. Yep, I totally get you. So, Chris, you did mention a whole bunch of other. You did mention Barbie trailer, but the week that we're recording this and the week that this comes out, it's like trailer week. There's the Across the Spider-Verse 2 trailer. There's the Blue Beetle trailer. There was the Secret Invasion trailer that came out on Sunday. I think there was one other one. I can't remember.
Across the Spider-Verse. Did you say that one?
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. So a bunch of trailers this week, and news comes out. Any other trailers that really caught your eye? I know you weren't too high in the Blue Beetle one, Chris, but I think you were a little more interested in the Across the Spider-Verse one.
That looks fantastic. Yes, I didn't initially like the first one they put out there. I thought it was just kind of okay, which was fine. But this one looks really cool. I was going to see it anyway, of course, but now I'm much more excited.
Nice.
It looks very cool. And I also like the Secret Invasion trailer a lot.
I'm remember we saw something from the Secret Invasion trailer a while ago.
We did.
D23.
We saw a glimpse of it.
Some kind of Disney thing. Anyways, the spy nature of it is very interesting to me. That's something I'm interested in. Still not knowing much about even like the Ben Mendelsohn character from Captain Marvel and the Skrulls and what Nick Fury's been up to. I don't know most of that stuff, but you know, it's got Olivia Colman in it, or Olivia Colman.
Cook, I think.
And Emilia Clarke, Sam Jackson, and what's her name from Colby
Smulders.
Yeah, Colby Smulders from the Avengers movies, all that kind of stuff. So I'm interested in that to see where it goes, and I like the idea that it's just more of a spy thriller.
I like that it's something different.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Winter Soldier, which I'm all in for.
Yeah, exactly. That's the vibe I got. And Nick Fury's all bearded up and scarred up, and I'm interested to see what's going on with him.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Secret Invasion. I think that's going to be good.
Nice. All right, I think that's going to do it for a quick gathering.
That was a quick gathering.
That's the idea. Just a quick gathering, just the kind of newsworthy items that we want to talk about, and just in case you guys missed it and we wanted you guys to know. So be sure to like and subscribe to Gathering of the Geeks on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I didn't tell you this, Chris, but I was going to do plugs because it's kind of a video. I told you that before. So for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.